Welcome back to a bitterly cold Perthshire in Scotland. I'm on my own today, no one else fancied it, and it is cold, very cold. It's about 3 degrees at the moment, Celsius, which is double it, 6 and add 30, 36 degrees Fahrenheit. And I wish I'd remembered my gloves, but I didn't. Got about 100 acres, been ploughed a few weeks ago. Turned up all sorts off this field over the last couple of thousand years. A couple of burial mounds in the far side of this field. So you never know what you're going to find, because they date back to the Bronze Age, about 3,500 years ago. So let's see what we get. 20 minutes in, I've not had a peep, but I've just had my first signal. Definitely a digger, and I've got about an hour and a half before it gets dark. I suspect I'm not going to have a lot of footage unless things rapidly improve. So what I'll do at the end again, I'll show you one of my best finds over the last 22 years. So don't go anywhere, but let's see what we get on this one. Fairly deep, that one, about 8 inches, maybe 9 inches, but I did catch a flash of green on that last spadeful, and I'm sure it was a coin. Don't know where it's gone, mind you. Oh, there it is. That is a coin, and it's a very particular type of coin. That is a cartwheel penny, I think. The only copper coin that was made that big, and they were only made for 1 year. 1797, which means it's George III. They don't keep very well in the ground. This one though, it looks like it's got a bit of detail. I can see a few letters there already. They were called cartwheel pennies because they were about the size of a cartwheel. They were hugely unpopular, but George III wanted to show off new technology, and it was a particular type of steam engine press that could make these coins. So it was the first sort of mass-produced big, large penny. So let's give it a clean up and see if we've got any detail. Yeah, that's a shame. I was hoping for better than that. But this side is Britannia seated. You can see her staff running along there like a line. And on this side, you can just make out the big nose of George III and the keyword Rex, R-E-X. That was the bit I could see earlier, which made me think, oh, it's going to be quite a good coin, but unfortunately that's about the only part of it that is good. The rest of it, very corroded. But it's George III, it's a cartwheel penny, and it dates to 1797, so not a bad start. 20 minutes, but straight in there with a coin. Well, you wait for 20 minutes and you get 2 signals in a minute. There was my last signal right there, and we've got another one. Right there. Well, out on the first hole, I don't believe it, but we might have another coin. Surely not 2 in 2 minutes. Well, I think it is 2. Let's see, moment of truth. Oh my god, it's a button. Damn it, I just thought there for a minute that looked tinned or silvered, and it is. It's a tombak button. Well, that's a shame. When I saw that, I thought, oh, that might be an early milled silver coin, because it just had that kind of a lightly tinned or lightly silvered surface that they sometimes get. But the game was given away with this big chunky loop. So that's a tombak button, silvered or tinned. Probably dates to the sort of middle to the late end of the 1700s, but could carry on through into the early 1800s. We're on a bit of a roll here. George III was there. Tombak button, should I say, was here. Got another signal right here. Sounds a bit better now it's out the hole. Is it out the hole? Oh, it's doing this thing again. Why does it do that? Maybe it isn't out the hole after all. That there. That is it there. That is a bullet. A bullet. And that is a bullet. It's a very long bullet. I think that is a 303. Do let me know if I'm wrong. It's got a rounded tip on it. I'm sure they did different lengths of 303. I'm sure they did a 303 long caliber. So 303 was the standard issue of the British Army from the late 1800s, I think about 1880, all the way through the Zulu Wars, the Boer War in South Africa, right through World War One, World War Two. I think it was phased out around the 1950s or the 1960s, in the military at least, but they still make them today. Always handy when it's right on the surface of a ploughed field. Just next to the bird poo we have something metal. Question is, what is it? Let's clean some of the mud out. It's a bit of wood. Do you think that was supposed to be in it? Or do you think that's a coincidence? Seems like it's pretty well in there. No, it's 100% that piece of wood was supposed to be in there because of the shape of it, and it's stained green, so it's been in there for a long time. Almost looks kind of like a trigger shape. I've got no idea though. I'm assuming it's probably something tractory, machinery related. We've got another one just about here. Sounds pretty strong. In actual fact, that could be it. It could be another surface find. I think it is. I think that's lead. That is lead. It is. Definitely. We have a musket ball. A very flat musket ball, or certainly an impacted one. There you go, got one of these, yesterday? Day before yesterday as well. Marty got one too, off the same field. Beautiful sunset tonight. Isn't that nice? Cold and crisp. So we have another musket ball. So this is made of lead. It goes white when it's been in the ground for quite a long time. And it's been fired from a flintlock musket. Date-wise, probably dates from the 1617 into the early 1800s. I would guess probably sometime in the 1700s. Another good signal. Maybe not actually. It's a bit of an irony tone to that, so let's see what we get. Well, I was correct. Big iron, as we say in the business. That is probably a piece of a ploughshare. It's hit a big piece of stone or something and snapped off. And we have another one. Sounds not bad. Let's see what we get. This one is out the hole. Quite shallow. Came out in the first spadeful. There she blows. Feels heavy. Feels like it might be lead. Maybe a little lead seal of some description. No, we've got letters. I think we've got Perth. P-E-R-T-H. It is made of lead. It's like a little sort of crimped seal. P-E-R-T-H is the city of Perth. And on this side, gives you a clue to what it is. A-R-C-E-L-S. And I think that's a letter 2. But it's the A-R-C-E-L-S that's important because it would have said parcels. This is a lead seal from the Royal Mail. They used to attach these to the top of mail bags to seal them for security. And it would say the depot of where they were being sent to. Now we found quite a lot of these in the fields around here from places like Perth and Forfar and Angus and so on. And what we think happened is they were reusing the old Royal Mail sacks on the farms for other things, for putting, barley in and seed and fertilisers and stuff like that, because they were heavy duty Hessian sacks and Hessian bags. So a bit of recycling back in probably the 1850s, give or take. Well, I hit a massive patch of hot rocks there for the best part of like half an hour. Everywhere I seemed to move, and I couldn't fade them out, so I've had to actually move away from that part of the field. Finally, I've got a decent signal. Not brilliant, but I suspect it will be my last of the day. I've got about 10 minutes of sunlight left. So let's see if we've got something decent to end the day. And the answer, it would appear, is no, we don't. We have a little piece of metal. It's got these little teeth on the side. Get quite a few of these as well. I'm assuming some sort of implement or cog system, probably related to early agriculture. But I think, unless I get another signal in the next 10 minutes, I think the next thing you'll see is one of my favourite finds that I've had over the last 22 years. So stay tuned. As promised, here is another one of my favourite finds over the last 20 or so years. This is a turner, or a 2p. It's a Scottish coin made of copper, and we find quite a lot of these in the fields, but unfortunately not very many of them in this kind of condition. I found this one about 15 years ago, and it came from a field that was very, very sandy, and as a result it preserved it quite well. Normally these are blank discs, and at the very best you can just make out the thistle in the centre. Around the outside edge is the Latin Nemo me impune lacessit, which is today still found on Scottish coins. Basically it means, who dare meddle with me? If you mess with me, I will mess right back at you. On the reverse, we can just make out CAR, which is Carolus, which is Charles in Latin. It would have then said Mag, and then Scotland, England, France et Hibernia, which is Ireland. Charles, King of Scotland, France, England and Ireland. This coin dates to between 1649 and 1685. Charles II's father, Charles I, was executed, and from 1649 till 1660, England, and in fact Scotland and Ireland, became a republic. Oliver Cromwell. Then when Oliver Cromwell died, 1648 I think it was, his son became the next protectorate in the republic. But that didn't go very well, and it was decided in 1660 to ask Charles II, who had been exiled in France living with his cousin, King Louis, to come back. So he did. And he executed a hell of a lot of people, and he ruled until 1685. But beautiful coin.